Hello everyone, this is Prasad Mainampati. Today I would like to talk about on what is RAG database and what is apps database, and then would like to have some demo on TAF, which is a transparent application failover in RAG database environment. Generally we get questions like, once after completing Oracle database administration, or I'm working as an Oracle DBA, now what is my next path? What is my next level? For those who are working in corporates, they know pretty well what to do next. Basically, the next level is obviously becoming RAG database administrator or apps database administrator. Depends upon the requirement in their company or maybe the openings that they really see in the market a lot on the RAG as well as an application DBA side. And most of the people are really very familiar with what is Oracle database administration. This is basically to take care of the database availability. That's the core role of a database administrator. As we know, first comes availability, then we talk about the performance. As we are having prerequisites for Oracle database administration as basic SQL knowledge to retrieve the information from database, and basic idea about the Unix administration, like how do you find files and how do you maneuver through the directories, files, how do you find a file, how do we look at the processes which are running on the Unix operating system. Since most of the implementations of Oracle database is on Unix flavor, either HP, Unix, or maybe AIX. These days a lot on OEL, Oracle Enterprise Linux. So more or less all these Unix flavors really works in a similar way, and one should get familiar with VI commands and stuff like that to get file modifications, things like that. So once after having the basic knowledge on the SQL and Unix basics, then definitely will put the person for Oracle database administration in understanding the concepts of the database and the architecture of the database. How do we manage the core files of the database like control files, redo log files, and data files? How do we really manage them with respect to the availability by doing the multiplexing and all that? With respect to DBA files, obviously we follow the setup of DataGuard, where it provides the high availability with respect to the database. And the other topics which we talk about during the Oracle database administration is the performance tuning, which is really important to understand what is that we need to do in a given environment to have the better execution plans and generating statistics and stuff like that. Apart from that, the most important thing with respect to storage is ASM. So we talk a lot about various aspects of the Oracle database administration. Now person is decently knowledgeable to manage any Oracle database environment, which is the latest version of Oracle 11g release 2. Well, of course, recently we have 12c2. Now, once after spending some time as an Oracle database administrator, as requirements and the demand in the market is very huge on RAG database administrator or the apps database administrator. Normally I hear a lot of questions on, okay, we hear about RAG a lot and then apps DBA a lot, and how it is different than Oracle database administration, or can we really do directly RAG DBA without having Oracle database administration, or can I really take up that apps DBA without having Oracle database administration? It's highly difficult to understand the apps database concepts and apps DBA roles and responsibilities are real application clusters, RAG database administrator concepts, without having without understanding the how the Oracle database works, in fact, because the RAG or apps DBA stuff builds on top of Oracle database administration. So I would say, before we talk about RAG database administrator or apps database administrator roles and responsibilities, one should have a decent knowledge and understanding about how do we manage the core database, which is Oracle database administration stuff. Now, once after having a decent knowledge on the Oracle database administration, then an individual can pick the path either on the RAG database administration, which is providing the high availability at the instance level. As I just said, control files, redo log files are managed by using the multiplexing to manage during the failovers, like during the disk corruption or logical corruption or physical corruption, whatever it is. And people do ask the question like, hey, we have the backups. Yeah, backups are there, but that's a contingency plan. The first and foremost responsibility is to make sure the system is up and running. It should not go down. As we normally discuss during the availability, there are three types of availabilities we generally talk about. One is high availability, where we don't have any data loss as well as the downtime, and system is working seamlessly, so transparent to the user. Even though one service is down, the rest of the services are providing the service. Basically, people continue to do their work. That's what we would like to have in any corporate, basically. So we don't want to see the system going down because of some kind of corruption. It's a logical corruption or a physical corruption. System should be up and running. That is the decent setup any corporate would expect from the technology people. So having said that, how do we achieve the multiplexing? As I just said, the control files and redo log files are fairly easy when compared to the DBA files, where we need to really follow the data guard setup. Even production goes down, if data broker is set up automatically, which works on based on the heartbeat mechanism, so it can really connect to the available standby so that show can continue. Meanwhile, administrators will work on the reason why it went down and then set that back, and then it can be standby now. So that setup we talk about a lot during the data guard setup. So that's how we take care of database as a whole. Well, database is available, but what about the instance? If instance goes down, there is no way anyone can access the database. So that's what Oracle talks about, the MA, max available architecture, where it supports both instance as well as the database. Instance is protected by real application clusters and database is protected by data guard. And generally, data guard is set up across the sites, and the clusters, real application clusters, normally set up within the site itself to protect the instance failures. So normally in core database, the relationship between the instance and the database is 1:1. Once the database is up and running, there is no way I can start one more time. If I try to start it, it says, hey, it's already up and running, you cannot start it. That functionality is achieved by using the locking mechanism, so that we cannot start one more time because there is no communication between these two instances. So how do we really protect the instance? Because obviously we need to have multiple instances which are working for a single database. That's the setup we really taught during the RAG database administration. RAG is possible with the setup of the clusters. Well, what is a cluster again? When we say cluster, these are individual servers but interconnected, working as a single service, which is really powerful. And in fact, RAG is not just failover, as failover is not a regular situation, right? So RAG is for high availability, as well as the load balancing at high level. If I have 50 GB on each instance, where I have 3-node rack cluster, 3 instances like sales database having sales 1, sales 2, sales 3, 3 instances, each one is having 50 GB. Now my sales database is having the power of 150 GB SGA, unbelievable, where it can really do the load balancing with the concept that they have introduced recently with 11G, we call scan IPs. So this is what we are going to discuss during the rack setup actually. How many IPs we need? One is server IP, the other one is virtual IP, the other one is private network and public network. Then recently the new one which is introduced scan IPs. Scan is a beautiful concept where our client-side configuration made very easy. Either we add couple of nodes to the existing cluster, or if we remove a couple of clusters, couple of nodes from the cluster, we don't need to really do any manual configuration at the client level, though, because all the clients are connecting to the server by using the scan name, the scan IP basically. So basically when we talk about rack database, we are going to talk about a lot on the how do we manage the clusters, how do we add the services, how do we manage the instances, and how do we manage the database. Even instance goes down, and how the other node will get this information and continue the transaction on the available node. The beauty about the cluster is, let's say if I have 5-node cluster, if a select statement has been fired on first node, and if first node goes down, it can jump onto the second one. If second node goes down, it jump onto the other one which is available. So the select statement can run till the last node available in this cluster itself. So that's where this is completely transparent to the user. User will not know anything. It just take a quick pause when a connected instance goes down, then it continues. So towards end of the session, I would like to give the demo how really the failover happens actually. So that's what we talk during the rack database administration, and RackDB is responsible for managing the clusterware as well as instances that are working on the cluster. Now recently we kind of hearing about, hey, how about keeping a single database which is core database, like one instance, one database. Can I put it on a cluster? Yes, you can do that. But what is the benefit? Well, the benefit is if instance goes down without user intervention, because it is under control of the clusterware, the clusterware can start the instance automatically. That also I can show you during the TAF. Even though I kill the instance, then automatically your clusterware is responsible for starting it back. So if you want to have it, you can have a single database on the clusterware. Generally, when we talk about rack database, definitely it is having more than one instance, each instance placed on the different server, in order to get the benefit of load balancing, automatic load balancing with the help of scan listener, and failover any services that are configured with the clusterware itself. So now, in essence, when we talk about rack database, it's all to do with the managing the cluster database, where a single database is using more than one instance to have the better load balancing with respect to connections. At the same time, it supports a great deal of the failover in case of failure happens. So let's look at a very high level what's an apps DBA role is. Then what is applications EB Suite, Oracle EB Suite. The whole world, if you really look at it, we have two major products which we can call as enterprise applications. One is Oracle applications, the other one is SAP. Generally, anyone who is looking at financial transactions, they go with Oracle apps. If some corporations, they are looking at the manufacturing industries, they go with SAP. And most of the implementations of SAP also needs a database, and SAP uses Oracle as a database, so that explains the power of Oracle database. So when we talk about Oracle Apps Database Administrator role, yes, he should know about Oracle database because the database is Oracle database. Apart from that, in addition to the responsibilities of Oracle database administration, Apps DBA is responsible for managing, maintaining the applications also, because applications also deployed by Oracle Corporation itself. Unbelievable product where a single product is fully configured out of the box. It is having almost 200 plus modules, where you have insurance, you have healthcare, sales, manufacturing, and you name it, they have it. So all are tightly integrated, and a lot of functionality is already predefined. And if anything, that basically, let's say for example, we have a Sony and Toshiba. These two are electronics manufacturing companies, though they do the same stuff pretty much, but the way they do the business is completely different. They can have some kind of customization and stuff like that. That's where the customization comes into the picture. Even customization also should look like the same as a seeded product, which is from Oracle itself. So that's all done by the development team. But what is the role of the apps DBA? Because application also is from Oracle, any enhancements which are done by patching. A lot of patching we talk about when we talk about the Oracle database administration, apart from the database administration roles. For example, if I have to apply a patch on the database in order to fix a problem or to enhance the capability, I use a tool called OPatch. Now, I have applications also. If I have to enhance the capabilities or address a problem with respect to some kind of general ledger or account payables or whatever it is, so that's what the role of the database administrator, because it has to do with some kind of tools provided by Oracle Corporation itself. Like, we have various tools that we use it in apps DBA role, like AD admin to manage the Oracle applications database environment. If you want to apply a patch with respect to a product, then we go for AD patch and stuff like that. And there are many tools that we talk about. So basically, in essence, when we talk about Oracle apps database administration, not only Oracle database maintenance, and we are responsible for managing the patching and enhancing the product files also. That's the reason we talk a lot about the technology stack and environment files and XML files and stuff like that. In order to manage the environment properly, thanks to Oracle, they have provided enough tools to manage it. All we need to know is how do we make use of tools, given tools, and when to use what kind of tool, and how do you ensure the environment is managed properly. So that's the thing we are going to talk about when we say Oracle Apps Database Administrator. So where there is a lot of opportunities on the both areas, especially wherever we see the financial applications implementation, we see a lot of Oracle applications have been implemented. Now, as I just promised in the beginning, so what is the TAF? TAF is nothing but transparent application failover. Transparent to user. User will not know, and it can fail over onto the available node. So this can be achieved after we configure a multi-node cluster. So for now, I have a setup where I have 3-node cluster, where I have a database called sales database. So that's the database is up and running. And then we will see how the connection can fail over with respect to the select statement. While, okay, this is what I'm going to do. So I will make the connection from one server, that which I call as a client, and then I will go and see which node it got connected to. It has to connect one of these 3 nodes. So once I know which instance it got connected to, I will just fire a statement. While statement is running, I'm going to kill the connected instance. I'm just going to kill one mandate background process, for example, smon. By killing that, instance goes down, then automatically that session can fail over to one of the available instance. Then it starts from there itself. User will not see any error or anything. It can continue on that. Then I will go and kill that session, that instance, in fact, not the session. When that instance goes down, automatically it goes and jumps onto the available instance. Meanwhile, the one which I have killed the first instance automatically brings up by the cluster itself. That's what we're going to see. All right, that's the demo which I would like to show you. All right, so I have, this is my main server. Let me clear the screen. And this is the client actually. Okay, now I have rack 1, rack 2, and rack 3. These are the 3 rack nodes. Now let us check echo dollar Oracle SID. It shows the instance name. This is what it's showing, like sales 1. Coming on to rack 2, echo dollar Oracle SID. That's a sales 2. Let's get on to 3, echo dollar Oracle SID. That's a sales 3. So database is same, sales, having 3 instances. Now let's see, let me connect afresh so that you can see how I'm connecting. So SQL plus, just take Scott Tiger @ my sales is the service which I have configured, and it is under control of the clusterware. Okay, so just connect to my sales database, and meanwhile I'll just go and pick a small query where it can show me what's the, which instance it got connected to. I can see the same information from anywhere because it's a cluster environment. As sysdba, I wanted to know which instance it got the connection to. Now it got connected to instance 1, and what I'm going to do is just go see that what is smon, so that I can take the instance down while it is going on. I'll just keep the command ready so that I can kill it. So now select star from employee 1. That's the table I'm going to select from. So what I would do is, meanwhile, I'll keep this instance and here also the query ready, just in case, because when I'm going to take it down. Okay, let me copy that select statement. All right, okay, that's the one. Okay, let me go and fire that and then come back on first node because it is connected to the instance 1. I'm going to kill it. Okay, this is where I'm going to fire the command. Now it is up and running. I just kill that. It'll just pause a minute. Now let us check which instance it connected to. Now if I see ps-ef grep smon is down. After a while I can see it started again back. Let's see which instance it got connected to. I'll just say, oh, it's connected to instance 3. Now on instance 3, which I have connected to, say grep smon. Now I'm going to take this instance down by killing one mandate background process. 15. Now we take a break here. Now it pauses over there. Now let me see which instance it got connected to. It shifted to second one. First, it connected to first instance. We took it down and it moved on to the instance 3. Now I took third instance down. Now it shifted to 2. So that's how it's going to shift to available instance when the connected instance goes down automatically. Now, if I go and check on rack 1 before it gets started, if I say ps minus cf grep smon, yeah, now it's going to take a while before it can start back the instance itself. Now, see, the query is continuing without stopping. So that's what we're going to achieve basically when we configure reapplication clusters database, RAG database. Okay, so now let me go and see is this is back, is connected to 2, and then we took both down. Now sales is back. You see that even though I killed it, automatically the cluster where it started, the instance back on rack 3, well, on the rack 1 also. All right, so that's the power of rack. Thank you, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you later with something new later. Thank you. Bye bye now.